Hi, this is TapCat. Welcome back to Planet Coaster and our attempt to build the ultimate park, TapCatLand. Our new coaster is up and running, and while the queue is certainly not super backed up, I don't consider that a negative. The key to me is, are enough people feeding in here, to keep the cars full? And I think they are. So realistically, last month we made $2,100 plus. By the way, this is interesting too. The ratings have bounced up and down. Now, I made no changes to this at all since we saved it last time. But I noticed when we were testing, they kept changing. I think that now that we've saved the game at that point in time and reloaded, that these are its final stats. So, I mean, excitement of 7.88, I'm very happy with. And the fear is under control, and the nausea is also very low. So I'm feeling pretty good about it. Now, I did go ahead and save this in my blueprints. And the other thing that kind of blows my mind... Oh, now, see, that's funny. Here it says it's 7.2. So let me do this. I want to... I'll do this later, I guess. I don't want to take up a lot of time typing, but now I'm wondering if these stats are solid or not. All right, well, bottom line, 7.2 or 7.88. It's good. It's just, I guess, a question of degree. Now, what I really wanted to talk about is that I keep saying we're not going to leave the park the way it is. We're going to make some changes and put in scenery and stuff. What I've mostly been waiting for is, like to be able to have more family rides so that, say, I could create a family area and things like that. But, and also, I guess, rides that would go together theme-wise better. So, for example, this has a very nautical feel to it. So if we did a pirate-themed area, this would be a great piece of that. But ideally, I would like to have a few more. I think the problem with that approach is that, because I'm limited by what I've researched, I have no idea when I would have enough rides like this to do a whole land of it. So, maybe I'm just kind of worrying about it a little more than I need to. A lot of these rides, like really... how would this fit in an Old West or a pirate or even sci-fi with these old looking, airplane type things on it? I don't really think that I can afford to get too precious worrying about theme, all throughout. So what we're going to do is we're going to just kind of go through and make sure this area is being well run. And then we're going to start working on the new approach to the park. Now, I will outline that. You can see right now, we come in, we have a long straight path from the entrance. And everything we've built is off on this side. And it's, I don't know if a grid is the right word. It's basically just in a long row, right? That's not how I kind of see the park going ultimately. So here's what I have in mind. We will have a path come out from the entrance, as you might expect. And then maybe somewhere around here, I want a big circle. Okay? And then off of that circle, there will be a number of paths, like say 5. And each of those will go a short distance. And then there'll be another circle, and all of the rides for that area will be there, okay, off of that circle. And I think that what that means is you're going to walk for a fair bit when you first come into the park, but then no one thing will be too insanely far away from anything else. Now, will that work? We'll see. I've actually never tried this before. The one thing I did do off camera is experiment with how to build a circular path. And I have actually cracked that. I'm quite proud of myself. I didn't go try to look it up. I'm sure there's probably a video somewhere. But anyway, let's do this. Let's just kind of take each ride in turn. So they like this. They wish that, well, actually, it doesn't say that. It doesn't say that they want more scenery. But I think we all know one of the beefs about the park is people are very unhappy with the scenery. They also don't like that this queue fills up a lot. And you know, I said that about the scenery, and I don't see anything here saying that. Now the queue gets full, but usually right around the time it gets full, what happens is that, you know, the ride stops and it frees up space. Nonetheless, I think what we should do is I'm going to go ahead and close the ride, and I'll pause it so we lose as little money as possible. And we're going to, if I can remember how, we're going to move the entrance. And I'm not going to move it very far. I'll put it like here, because I don't really want huge queues. I just don't. But what we're going to try and do is make it so that it does not fill up as often. Okay. So let's do this. It would really help if it would stop jumping. All right. There we go. So that will give it some extra room. And I am content to go ahead and start it up again. And so we would lose a little bit of money, but nothing, you know, completely crazy. I just did something I did not intend to do because I still had paths. I wanted to see what some of these guys, so a lot of them are hungry and thirsty. All right, so I tell you what, I built these two over here, and then I added another cosmic cow. But what we're going to do, since the coaster I expect to pull a ton of people, we will go ahead and let me do this. I'll go into custom so we don't take up a lot of space. We'll do something new though. I will do a gulpy slush. How's that? Come on. Should I do an energy drink this close to the coaster? I'll try that. All right. I think that's more than far enough away from the ride. Let's go ahead and dress it up just a little bit. So we want to go to building, custom, and let's see. Show me some love on the gulpy, please. Now, this is gulpy energy. It's important to remember that. And it's also very important to remember that whenever you place one of these shops down... Oh, I did not mean to do that. My mistake. Oh boy. I didn't want Lumiere. Give me this trash can, because it does not need to be in the middle of a path. Okay. So we put that down. Now maybe it wouldn't kill me to have a food place as well. So let's do this. Food. And we'll do a hot dog squad. I don't have one of those yet. Maybe not put it right. Hang on a second. Let's move this bench. I will keep it. Oh, that's weird. Why would it not fit there? Huh. It only wants to put it on the path? That makes no sense to me. Okay. I tell you what. It's not worth spending a lot of time on, I personally think. So let's go back to trying to build our little hot dog stand. And there we go. And then likewise, I'm going to go ahead and add a sign. Now, I wish I could build a whole hot dog on the roof like I did for the hamburgers. But as far as I know, you can't do that. There's nothing equivalent in the game. So people who are hungry and thirsty, hopefully, you know, that'll sort them out. Now, here's a question. Do I also want a new restroom over here? Because, I mean, this one's pretty far away. So maybe I will. In fact, forget maybe, we will. So let's straighten up my view. For some reason, I'm having a terrible time with that. And we'll go to shops and facilities and restrooms and that. Wow. I don't know why this is being so stubborn. Is it just not gonna connect? Something's going on in this area. I don't know what. I don't know what. All right, I tell you what. Let's do this. Okay. This ride is kind of bumming me out. It's not a ride, but this process. There we go. Okay, I don't know. I don't know why it's being so twitchy, but it seems to like this spot. So that's fine. Now, I feel like in general, we don't have a ton of bins over here. So I'm just going to go ahead and throw a couple more down. I don't have any particular, you know, thing that I'm worried about them throwing litter down for. But like, I should have put some down near this cosmic cow, and I didn't. So that's a very dangerous thing to do. Okay, so I got a little sidetracked taking care of one specific need, but we did fix the queue for this. I see it's nowhere near full now. How about the carousel? What are people saying? They're not complaining, other than they don't like the scenery. We're going to do that. God, that is so awful. 1.48 excitement. I actually was reading, now this was an article I did look up. It was about families and how if they have children, they will not go on a ride over 4 of fear. So, technically you have to have it in the orange, not in the red. And I thought that was really interesting. So if that's true, let's see if we can find any young children in this line, because this is almost 5. And you know what? I do not see a single little kid. Now, in comparison, let's go over here, because this ride has very low fear. And look at that. We see kids. So what that means is when I build the roller coaster over there, and I'm thinking, hey, I want to be right at 5 fear because it's green. It's right in the middle of the green zone. That's what I believed was my goal. See, again, all these little kids, they want to go on this. So what that means, it's not necessarily bad, okay? Like, this can be a very successful coaster. But it is going to have to be a successful coaster based on adults and teens. Because families will not split up and children will not ride this. So that's pretty interesting. And I think, let me check. Am I doing research right now? I'm not. So let's start. Let's do something like this. And I will try to build a more family-friendly ride, because that's really what I want to do, is put together something. Holy crap, look how much money we're making right now. That is insane. I want to build a family area of the park. Now, I don't even know for sure how well that works. Part of what I'm trying to do here is learn the game. But like, could we put a carousel and something like this, and then a non-scary train ride and that kind of thing, and build like this real cash cow for families to, pay us a bunch of money to go into. And then we have another area that's all like high excitement rides, and we don't mind if they have fear that's, you know, higher than that. Now, by the way, I would love to zoom in. Yeah, see, no kids here either, and this one's a little lower at 4.5. I really want to test this whole... Okay, so this is at 5.7. No surprise there's no kids here. What about this one? Okay, this is 3.42. So I got to say, I think that guy had it right. I do. I think that 4 is the magic cutoff. Okay, fair enough. So that's what we're going to shoot for then in the future. Now, I did make some changes here. How are we doing otherwise? Let's check park management and just see. The only red complaint is there's not much scenery here. Now, people still feel hungry, still feel thirsty. God help them. I mean, like, seriously, I feel like what I need to do is have a station where we hand out IVs. And, like, you would literally walk through the park dragging this big metal stand with an IV bag hanging off of it, and the drip feeding into your arm, so that you could just be fed liquids that way all day long, because apparently otherwise you're going to be thirsty. Now look at this. Nobody's eating or drinking here, and this one has very few people in line, and this one has very few people in line. The hot dog place is actually doing best. But all these people who are so hungry and so thirsty, and, you know, virtually nobody actually buys something to eat or drink. So that's kind of interesting. Okay. So I think before we start arranging the park, the only other thing that I really want to do is check our staffing. Okay. So we have 2 mechanics, and let's check their work rosters. So first of all, this one has everything over here. It's got the coaster, and then it has these 4 rides. Is that reasonable for one guy to do 5 rides? Now, okay, I didn't know there was a shop in here. Can I turn that off? Wait, am I doing... No, this is for janitors. I'm sorry. I wanted maintenance. I do not have the coaster. Wow, that's a mistake. That is a mistake big time. But I tell you what I'm going to do, because the coaster makes so much money. Let's do this instead. I'm going to make a new roster where I pick the coaster and like this thing. And then I'm going to literally call this Coaster 1. And then I'm going to hire a mechanic. And let me pause this really quickly. Okay, I can't train him yet. I know that. But what I will do is I'll go ahead and give him a small bump in pay in anticipation of that. But we're going to put him on Coaster 1. And then the next thing I want to do is have inspections every 10 minutes. It's brand new. We don't need refurbishment. But I totally want to get this thing, you know, very well taken care of. So I don't mind. He can share this duty with the other guy. So if he has some spare time, fine. Come down here and keep that running. But other than that, forget it. Now, what about the janitors? It looked to me like I did not add the coaster. So was it this one? Yes. All right, I do. I have it. My bad. Is this... Yeah, I think a janitor should be able to keep up with that. And everything else is still the same. You know what? I guess the only thing that I kind of screwed up is for this one, I don't even know for sure if it matters, but I can add the, well, maybe I can't. What's going on? I can't add any of these? Or am I adding them? Yeah, I am. Never mind. There it goes. Okay. Like I say, I don't even know for sure if it matters because he's already in that area. And over here, I think that's fine. Okay, so here's the reality. I believe... okay, I was so worried about the other ride. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and do this. So when he fixes it, hopefully it'll stay stronger. And then maybe this is another ride. Oh, I'm already asking for it every 20 minutes. All right. Well, then I tell you what I'm going to do. We're going to rework these a little bit. So on coaster 1, I've already got him focusing mostly on the coaster and then that other one. So the other guy, instead of sharing this one, I'm going to deselect it. Crap. Maybe I'm not. All right, I'm going to do it from scratch. So I want this. Oh, I should have done this one first. God, I hate this stupid carousel when it comes to picking for these rosters. It hates me. It just does not ever want to give it to me. I'm clicking it and clicking it. And the thing is, you have to be careful because if you double click, you can literally select it with your first one and then deselect it with your second one. Like that. I just did it. Okay, we got it. So that's 1, 2, 3. 3 or 4 has been working pretty well, so I'll pick these 4 and save it. And then what I'm going to do is I'll just have this guy do 2 rides, as sick as that is. And now hopefully he can keep up with Wild Blue better, or Kamikaze Blue, as we like to call it. Okay, so I think at this point we have sorted this out about as well as we're going to. Let me do this before we let everybody walk out the door. One facility that I have not put down is an ATM, and maybe I should. Maybe that's something I need to consider. So let's put one down. This is probably not the best spot. Oh, I can't do it here, huh? All right, I'll do this. I'll put it here. And then I'm going to move, obviously, the trash can because that doesn't make a lot of sense. That's easy enough to do. And I don't know. I mean, I could put another one over here. That's not necessarily a bad idea because that stupid coaster is really expensive. I don't have a sense of how many, ATMs you really need for a park. But we'll go ahead and put it down. Okay. All right. So having done that, I feel like we want to go ahead and start this process that I was talking about. Now, what I'm probably going to end up doing is building a circular hub over here, and then I'm literally going to pick up a bunch of stuff and move it. This is why I have not wanted to lay down a bunch of scenery. But what I am kind of considering is like I could buy a couple of stock buildings just for the sake of having something. And that will help. Like, what's my scenery rating? 9. I mean, that is pretty pathetic, let's be honest. And even if I just end up selling this back later, there's more than actual nothing for people to look at. Now, what I guess I should do if I'm going to do this is put it somewhere where I might actually get credit for it being near the queue. So again, this is a temporary measure. I'm not saying that this is what we're going to do for the park, okay? But this one got a really nice bump out of it. This one did not. But I could try. I mean, let's at least do something. Oh, my Lord, that's enormous. I don't really want that. So we'll just put down a pirate house. Now, I am doing this rather than the more action-oriented stuff, because there's no fee, as far as I know, for having it. Okay. Also, because this will be easier to move, I think. So this ride is broken down. All right. This is another one. I'll go ahead and refurbish it while it's down. I don't know. It has only been 13 months. Maybe I didn't need to spend that money, but it's kind of done now. Okay. At least my coaster is still going strong. And how much is it making? $2,500 a month. That's not bad. Okay. Enough stalling. So let's see. We need to figure out where we're going to build this thing that I'm talking about. Now, I'm going to build a temporary path. And we'll come out. This is kind of nerve-wracking, actually. I'll come out from here. Hold on. Well, actually, I kind of do want it to be this big, don't I? Maybe not this big. You know what I need to do? Yeah. But I want the path to be narrower. So, okay. Now, we're going to come in a ways. This is not going to be the permanent access, by the way. I would try to explain, but I think it's going to be more confusing. It'll just be easier to show you when the time comes. So, here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to start by building this. Now, I put a 15-degree angle snap on here. And I just realized I'm at 2 meters, which I don't want. What I'm going to do is I am going to do this. Actually, hold on. I apologize. This is, as I said, new to me. Is 10 meters the absolute max? All right. That's probably overkill, but I'm going to do it. Okay, so now I clicked once. I'm going to come straight out and then just tweak it 15 degrees. And then I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to move until it clicks once, 15 degrees. And I'm going to keep doing that. And what this is going to accomplish is that I am going to have a reasonably large, perfect circle. And I'm going to use that circle as a hub for one themed land. And my intent is that in the middle of the circle, I will build facilities, restroom, food, first aid, all that. And then on the outside of the circle is where the rides will go. Now, this is why I needed a temporary path. I wasn't going to ever leave it there. I just needed a starting point for the circle. Okay. There you go. A perfect circle. And now we can use this to pick all this stuff up and bring it over here. Now, maybe all is too strong a word. I'm actually thinking I may kind of go in a different direction there. One thing I should do though is go to research and go ahead and do another family ride, because I need more family rides. And then maybe another thrill ride. Okay. Hi, Future TapCat here. I ended up going long on this installment, so I'm going to use the magic of video editing to pare this back down to a semi-reasonable length. So for the rest of the installment, basically the only thing that happened is that I went ahead and pumped more money into researching these few topics I just picked, and then they came up. So I'm going to show you the reveal and get on with it. All right. I feel like this is a decent place to stop, so we're going to go ahead and call it here. When we come back, I am going to build a track ride for the family area of the park and probably see if we can go ahead and just open that. So keep your fingers crossed. Hopefully it'll go well. That's all for now, though. Thanks for watching. I hope we see you next time.